What's going on, everyone? Hopefully you had a good long weekend. It's Tuesday. We're back at it. So today I'm going to be doing a trade recap of the trades that I took today. It's June 21st. The very first trade, I actually took a short on BABA, the low a day. It didn't work. I got out quick for a small loss. And then I waited for a setup on Tesla. Had a really big move off the open. I took the first very quick bull flag pattern, got a little bit of follow through, and at the end of the day, ended up making $995. This is going to be a great video because it shows that I don't win on every single trade. The thing that I try to do really good, which I'm far from perfect, but I try to do my best each day, is keep those losses small. Being that I'm a scalper, I'm holding my positions for a very short period of time. My average hold time is right around 2 to 4 minutes, probably closer towards that lower end, maybe around 2. So when something is going in my favor and then it starts to go against me pretty quickly, I need to just get out of it. I can always reevaluate it again if it sets up again. And I think the Alibaba trade is going to be a really good example of that, where it went in my favor a bit, started to go against me, just get out of it, patiently waited for another setup on a different stock, Tesla, got a nice win out of it. That win was much bigger than the loss, and that's why I ended green on the day. So now let's go over the newsletter watch list, what I was watching: Tesla, Nvidia, BABA, and Boeing. This is my newsletter watch list. This is my game plan and everything that I'm looking at going into market open. Quick analysis of the overall market, spying the cues, the stocks that I think are in play that day that are worth watching, if there's any news tied to them, and all the levels that I want to trade around. To the left, this is a screenshot of exactly what I'm posting on my private Twitter. I add the newsletter, I take a screenshot of the charts, green line to the upside being long, red line to the downside being short, and then I make sure to highlight the two major levels above. If you're interested in getting access to this, there's going to be a link in the description below. So now let's go over the technicals and the why. I'll go over SPY and the Qs, and then Tesla and Alibaba, because those are the ones that I traded. So starting with SPY, said that it barely closed green on Friday, still a weak daily, but looking for a possible oversold bounce because it gapped up, needs to hold up off the open, then clear pre-market high, has room to 380, 382. The 9 EMA on the daily is at 382.05. Weakness off the open, then breaks pre-market low. Bears could take control for a pullback to 366, 364. And now the Qs, so closed green on Friday as well. Still a weak market, but looking for a possible oversold bounce, had to gap up too. First, it has to hold up off the open, then clear pre-market high. If so, it has room to 284, 286. The 9 EMA on the daily is at 284.21. Fails to hold up off the open and breaks pre-market low. Bears can take control for a pullback to 273, 271. Now to get into Tesla. So it closed green on Friday, showing some strength in the pre-market today, looking for possible bounce, needs to clear pre-market high and 675.50, which was the prior high on June 16th. Has room to 690, 700. Not able to hold up off the open, starts to roll over and breaks pre-market low. Bears could take control for a pullback to 645, 635. And now Alibaba, so that was a really nasty sell-off on Friday. Pretty aggressive selling candle. Now gapping up into resistance. Holds up off the open, then clears pre-market high. Could bounce to 109, 111. Fails to hold up off the open, and bears could take back control because of the selling on Friday. If it breaks pre-market low, it has room down to 103, 100. Now let's go over the Alibaba intraday chart. What happened and why did I short it? So pull back a little bit, then made a new high a day. Check this candle out. Big move above the high, and then immediately rejected it. So a fake breakout below the VWAP and the 9 EMA. The reason why I didn't want to go long is because of the weakness from the prior day. And if it makes a new low of day, I would think that anybody who is stuck over 106 would want to stop out, and there would be some sort of reaction to the downside. So once it made a new low a day, I actually went short right in this area, and then very quickly it bounced against me. And when it got just back above that 9 EMA, I ended up stopping out and I took a quick loss. And yes, this did roll back over, and had I held, that would have ended up being a winning trade, but I don't want to do that. I want it to go very quickly in my favor. If it starts to go against me, I need to get out just to be careful. So that was Alibaba. Now let's get into Tesla, what happened on the intraday and why I went long. So obviously, look at this move off the open. It just went straight up. Now, I really wish it had a pullback sooner off the open, but I don't want to chase this. I want to see some sort of red candle. So if it is just going straight up, I need it to pull back a little bit before I want to consider taking the trade. So what did it do? It went right through pre-market high, this green line, and the very first pullback was this red candle right here, still above VWAP and the 9 EMA. This is a quick bull flag pattern. So sometimes these bull flags and bear flags, they can happen very fast. I'm willing to take that trade. I just want to make sure that I'm careful when I do so. So I had the first pullback, forming a very quick bull flag pattern, knowing that kind of that double top high from the two prior candles is right around 695. If it takes that out, I felt like there was going to be some more follow through the upside. So now getting into the first trade, which is on Alibaba to the short side. So very clearly had that breakout candle that failed. It's now getting back below the VWAP and the 9 EMA. 105 is low of day. So I ended up trying to anticipate the low of day break. I went short. I took 500 shares and I got short at 105.16. So it did very quickly get below 105, but immediately bounced. So that was a little bit of a sign that maybe it's not going to have the downside follow through that I thought. And when it got back above VWAP and started to get towards that 9 EMA, I didn't want to hold a loser. I wanted to get out just to be safe. And I got out of the position at 105.59. So now to get into the Tesla trade. So this is the first pullback that it had after going straight up. Clearly, it's caught a lot of momentum. This is a huge move to the upside. And being that that move was so big to the upside, I felt like this was a really good setup. Knowing that if it clears that 695, maybe there's a chance for more upside, I ended up going long. I took 10 contracts, the 695 calls, and I got filled at $20.74. So clearly this thing is in an uptrend, ended up waiting for that first pullback. I feel like I got long at a decent spot. And then when it failed to kind of make this new high right here, I really wanted to see that go through very quickly. Started to pull back a bit just to be safe. I want to get out of the position. Ended up selling all 10 contracts at $21.95 for a nice win. So now let's check out the P&L. I kept that first loss small, only lost $215, waited for the setup on Tesla, took advantage of it, and made $12.10 to be up $9.95 on the day. Overall, I feel like I did a pretty good job, and that's a nice green day for me. So that was the trade recap. I appreciate you watching the video. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. I just want to talk about a couple cool things that I have to offer. The first is going to be my newsletter watch list. This is exactly what I post on my private Twitter 30 minutes before market open every single day. I do a quick analysis of the overall market, the SPY and the Qs, if there's any major market news that day, and then all the stocks I'm interested in watching. It's usually 4 or 5, if there's any major news tied to them, and all the levels that I think are in play. To the left, this is exactly what I'm posting on my private Twitter. I make sure to add that newsletter. I take a screenshot of the charts, green line to the upside being long, red line to the downside being short, and I make sure to highlight those 2 levels above. This is everything that's going on in my mind and my game plan going into each market open. Also, I make sure to add a little mental note because every day is slightly different, and here's an example of that. And if you want something that's a little bit less of a commitment, I do offer a live one-on-one call for 1 hour. This is where you can ask me questions about my journey, go over setups specifically, everything that I've gone through as a trader. Whether you're beginner or advanced, this is a great way to connect with me. So if you're interested in my private Twitter or the one-on-one live call, feel free to go to callmattdiamond.com or check out the links in the description below.